the greatest heist in history, and the world forgot it happened. What if I told you the biggest bank robbery in history didn't happen in Vegas, London, or New York, but in Baghdad, under the shadow of war? No alarms, no gunshots, just silence. And $1 billion vanished overnight. This isn't fiction. It actually happened. March 2003. As the world watched bombs fall on Baghdad, few noticed what was unfolding beneath the chaos. While soldiers and reporters braced for conflict, someone slipped into the Central Bank of Iraq with a single handwritten note. No break-in, no force, just a calm order signed by Saddam Hussein himself. That paper authorized the withdrawal of nearly $1 billion in US dollars. As missiles hit the capital, the biggest bank heist in history was already complete, and the world wouldn't realize it for days. Just hours before the bombs began falling, Saddam sent his son Qusay Hussein to the central bank. Carrying his father's note, Qusay supervised the withdrawal of $920 million in shrink-wrapped cash, mostly $100 bills. That's nearly a metric ton of money. A dozen trucks rolled up in the night, filled with cash, and vanished into the desert. No cameras, no ledgers. It was a dictator's farewell gift to himself. What's wild is it was technically legal under Saddam's rule. This wasn't just theft. It was state-sanctioned looting. That handwritten note, just a scrap of paper, was all it took. Saddam's signature made it law. No questions asked. Central bank employees obeyed out of fear, not duty. They loaded billions without resistance. Imagine that. The fate of a nation's wealth resting on a single ink stroke. This was less a robbery than an autocrat's command, and it slipped through every net: legal, military, even international. While governments scrambled to prepare for war, Iraq's treasure quietly disappeared. That's the million-dollar, or rather billion-dollar question. After Qusay left the bank, the money vanished. Some was likely hidden in palaces, some possibly buried in the desert, and rumors even point to Swiss accounts. But much of it, still missing. In the chaos after Baghdad's fall, looters broke into banks, palaces, and ministries, and what wasn't taken by Qusay may have been stolen by locals or foreign opportunists. This wasn't just a heist. It became a free-for-all. The lines between criminal, politician, and soldier blurred. When U.S. forces entered Baghdad's central bank vault, what they found was astonishing. Torn locks, scattered bills. Some bundles are still intact. In total, they recovered about $650 million, but it was buried beneath rubble in the walls of Saddam's palace. Soldiers described it as something out of a movie. Crates of cash, enough to buy a private army, hidden like pirate treasure. But not all of it went to evidence rooms. Some just disappeared. Some soldiers couldn't resist temptation. It's estimated that tens of millions vanished during transit. In one case, a sergeant mailed himself bricks of cash hidden in cereal boxes. Others stored bills in duffel bags and shipping crates. Over a dozen U.S. servicemen were later caught and convicted of stealing Iraqi funds meant for reconstruction. The war zone blurred lines. In the middle of lawlessness, even those sworn to protect the treasure sometimes became part of the heist itself. Qusay Hussein didn't enjoy his billions for long. Just 4 months later, in July 2003, U.S. forces tracked him and his brother Uday to a villa in Mosul. After a 4-hour gunfight, both were killed. No treasure was found at the scene. Whatever Qusay did with the money died with him. The $25 million bounty placed on their heads was paid out, but the $1 billion they had taken, still missing. No bank account, no coordinates, no ledger, just gone. After Saddam's fall, his palatial estates were searched room by room. Soldiers uncovered golden bathtubs, art, and vintage wine, but they also found hidden safes and secret underground rooms. In one location, nearly $160 million was found bricked inside the walls, still shrink-wrapped. Some historians believe Saddam had dozens of private vaults, each stashed with foreign cash. These weren't just personal funds. They were part of a larger escape plan that never came to life. Much of the cash found was traced by serial numbers, and it spoke volumes. Some bills were brand new, freshly printed in the US, showing how closely Saddam's regime was tied to international currency. Investigators later found that Iraq had quietly stockpiled US dollars for years, legally and illegally. Through oil-for-food scams, smuggling, and secret trade, Saddam had converted oil into cold, hard cash. The money wasn't just looted, it was laundered, hidden in plain sight. You might wonder, how do you lose track of $1 billion? The answer lies in chaos. Iraq's banking system collapsed almost overnight. Records were destroyed. Officials disappeared. And with war raging, the last thing on anyone's mind was accounting. Even US agencies struggled to track where money was flowing. And so, in the ashes of a fallen regime, the world lost sight of a massive fortune. It was the perfect crime, not because it was clever, but because no one was watching. The story didn't end with US dollars. Investigators found gold bars, jewels, and rare artifacts hidden in places Saddam trusted: family homes, tribal allies, and even rural caves. One tip led to a farm where over $1.6 million in bullion was buried under hay bales. Others were never found. These caches weren't just about wealth. They were part of a shadow economy Saddam had built, ready for life in exile. Except exile never came, only silence. One chilling theory suggests part of the money was moved through Russia. Saddam's regime had strong ties with Russian officials and banks, and some believe a portion of the heist was sent abroad just before the war. No hard proof has ever emerged, but financial investigators noted strange cash movements in Cyprus, Moscow, and Eastern Europe in 2003. Was it a coincidence? Or did Saddam's empire survive quietly, stashed in foreign vaults? In the early months of occupation, Baghdad became a magnet for fortune hunters, contractors, private soldiers, black market dealers, all chasing a piece of the vanished billions. Whispers spread of cash hidden in sewers, buried beneath hotels, or locked inside sealed embassy buildings. Some stories were absurd, others too plausible to ignore. Even CIA field agents reported hearing rumors they couldn't fully dismiss. For a time, Baghdad was a modern-day El Dorado. Some insiders believe the true scale of the heist was downplayed. Why? Because it raised uncomfortable questions. How did a war zone lose track of such vast wealth? And why were US troops allowed near unsecured treasure troves? Classified reports, redacted pages, and sudden shutdowns of investigations only added fuel. It's possible we'll never know what was truly recovered, and what quietly changed hands under the radar. In the months that followed, hundreds of millions in cash, both Iraqi and US, simply vanished from government records. Some of it was intended for reconstruction efforts, yet paperwork evaporated. A 2005 audit revealed that over $9 billion in US funds sent to Iraq went unaccounted for. Whether it was stolen, mismanaged, or covertly reallocated remains a mystery. The fog of war didn't just hide bullets, it hid money trails too. It became clear the greatest heist wasn't one act, but a series of them. Among the darkest legends from the post-war years, cash smuggled in coffins. Some insiders claimed that US personnel used military flights meant for the deceased to move millions in undeclared bills out of Iraq. It was the perfect hiding place out of reach, beyond inspection. No one ever proved it. But several whistleblowers noted unusual weight discrepancies in transports. Whether myth or reality, It shows just how wild and desperate the game of money had become. As stolen cash flowed out of vaults, it flooded into black markets. Suddenly, luxury cars, weapons, and foreign electronics were being sold on Baghdad's streets. Entire shadow economies sprang up overnight. Corrupt officials, local gangs, and foreign agents all fed off the stolen billions. One Iraqi investigator said, "It was like money had no meaning. Just wait." The real heist wasn't just stealing money, it was unleashing it with no rules. The echoes of that heist still shape Iraq's economy today. Billions that could have rebuilt roads, schools, and hospitals were swallowed by war, greed, and silence. Some experts argue this mass theft delayed Iraq's recovery by decades. The people paid the price while the looters walked away. It wasn't just a crime, it was a theft of generations. A story that rarely makes history books, but defines the scars on the land. So how much was truly stolen? Estimates vary. Some say $920 million. Others believe the full tally reached nearly $2 billion when you include gold, oil profits, and smuggled goods. But the point isn't just the number, it's how quietly it all happened. No masked bandits, no shootouts, just bureaucracy, war, and shadows. The largest theft in modern history took place with a whisper, not a bang, and the world moved on. In 2020, a secret U.S. intelligence memo was leaked, suggesting one final location: a sealed bunker near Tikrit, Saddam's hometown. It allegedly held strategic currency reserves. But when the site was excavated, it was empty. Some still believe the real cash remains out there untouched, buried deep in Iraq's soil or hidden in plain sight in a bank offshore. Like a ghost that haunts the modern era, the treasure of a fallen tyrant may still be waiting. This wasn't just a one-night robbery. It was a slow-burning theft of a nation's future. As the world watched war unfold on television, money slipped away silently into the shadows. Saddam may be gone, but the wealth he stole still shapes geopolitics, crime syndicates, and conspiracy theories. It's not just about the money, it's about the silence it left behind. So next time someone tells you the greatest heist happened in Hollywood, ask them if they've heard about Baghdad 2003. History isn't always written in ink. It's sometimes buried in dust, locked in vaults, or whispered through time. If stories like this make you pause and question what you thought you knew, there's more waiting just beneath the surface. Stick around. We've only just started digging.